Welcome to Date Night Podcast,
a tabletop role-playing game podcast set in the homebrew world of Volyanaya.
Let's explore a whole new world together.
Let's flash back to what's going on in sort of the other side of town at the Chief Tagata Inn near kind of the west of Raventree. While the others are gone, a bird comes in to Pippi, and she quickly removes the tube and note from its leg and corrals it into the cage. The note has come from the orchard, north of the Kokiku River. Something has either snuck around to the north, over the river, or some creature has wandered in from the road between here and the labyrinth. Alani, who's also at the Chief Tagata Inn, says, "The last thing we need is another front to fight on or some mystery to solve. Can spare 2 of you to go check on it. Take a bird with you from Pippi, and if you can't handle it, call for help. If you can take care of it, do so and return. I trust your assessment more than that of an apple picker."
I am pretty sneaky.
I'll go.
Okay, orc team.
Zev and Aaron.
Teamwork.
Right,
Kira
so
was
that
eyeing the
leaves-
front and was about to say, I'll go, but then she did, so she just kind of...
So Kira and GW are going to hang back at the Tagata for now.
Yeah.
She has a Winston water to
Boom,
drink.
Cataplepus
so-
appears out of nowhere.
All right. So this happens like not long after the 4 of them got dispatched. So this is sort of happening at the same time. You head across
Kira's gonna be broken forever.
the bridge,
Maybe.
north of the Kokiku River, and you sort of head east also toward the golden orchard that had come from Silver's blessing. Sort of the treants shepherded it here. You get over there and you see there are a couple people standing at the bridge guarding the Kama Creek, the bridge that comes across the Kama Creek, but it's just like 2 villagers with spears. You see somebody very animated pacing back and forth near the edge of the grove, holding what basically amounts to glorified pruning shears that he's ripped apart and tried to turn into daggers, basically. And he's sort of pacing back and forth at the edge of the field. And when he sees Aaron and Zev approach, this halfling heads toward you and he says, "Oh, you came. Thank you, goodness.
What is wrong?
There's something stalking across the river. It's going to come in here, and I just know it has eyes on our orchard."
Do you know what it is?
I just saw a flash, but it was pretty large, and then it vanished up into the treetops.
Did it
is
look
he
like
Piglet?
a cataplepus?
I don't know what a cataplepus really is. It just looked like a shadow. You've got to go. You've got to go look, or you've got to guard. You know the creek. I don't think it even needs to come across the bridge. It might stalk across and get into the treetops
we're
here
kind
and
of in the middle of a war right now.
hurt all of our
the orchard
pickers.
a priority?
We are also 2 of the only melee characters. We really should have brought a ranged person. All I have is Eldritch Blast.
Pew, pew.
I'm not. I mean, I'm worried about the trees, but I'm also worried about the apple pickers here who are staying in the orchard. We could leave, but many of them don't want to leave the trees. And
What?
if this thing gets in and starts stalking, it might eat my
Well, hold
friends,
Your
my family.
Your lives are more important than the trees. You should be in the town where you can be properly protected.
Yeah, what's going on?
But we're north of the river. We were told it was safer to be north of the river. Everybody's north of the river now. Who's not fighting, except for those guards over there at the bridge. And they said that they didn't see anything at all.
Okay, you are right. I'm wrong. It's perfectly safe here. Feel free to stay.
No, it's not safe. But you maybe you could make it safe if you just would have a look. I'm all
We'll
asking
take a
is-
look
I would
at it.
have a
Yes,
look.
we will do our best.
Okay. I'll stay here and I'll
Yeah, you keep
I'll
those
sound,
shears
I'll
up.
sound the alarm if I see anything
I'm gonna-
in the grove.
Unsheath 2 of my daggers and give 2 of them to him. Say, this is better than scissors.
Okay. And they look like short swords in his hands, but he's got them, and
Still better than scissors.
he eyes one of them and looks slightly more comforted.
I expect those
Comforted.
back.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Of course.
Where are my arrows?
I don't know. They went up. That is the last I saw.
Okay, so
I
where you
expect those
are
back.
is sort of the orchards,
Start walking.
maybe 100 feet or so from the creek, and maybe another 20 feet south of where the bridge comes across the creek. So you're kind of standing at the outskirts of the orchard now. What does Arn and Zev, what do you want to do?
I would like to
Look for something.
But-
Look for anything.
do so very stealthily. Like sneaky.
All right, so you're going to sneak toward the creek.
Yes, and take a
Okay.
peek.
Sneak toward the creek and take a peek. Roll a sneak and peek. So first roll a stealth check and then a perception
This will
check.
be sneak, this will be peek.
Okay. How's that sneak and peek going?
Sneak is a natural 1. Peek is a 2. So I would have had nice bonuses to sneak if I did not roll a 1.
So
Did
you
he
are
fall in the
very
river?
intent on looking up at the treetops as you near the Kama Creek.
Yes.
And during your sneak and peek, you wind up in the creek.
My
Yes.
sneak is a 15.
Okay.
My peak is a what bonus is that?
Perception.
19.
I really am
and then I
sneaky,
turn
I swear
around
to
and
God.
see Zeb, and then I hear splash, and
Yes.
I turn around and see Zeb fall into the creek.
You're very quiet as you move to the creek's edge and
Sounded like
peer
fun.
across. But at that same time, as you start peering across, you do watch Zev just about 10 feet to your right just walk right off the edge into the creek, which is only about, luckily, 3 or 4 feet deep down in the middle. But he's splashing around and making quite a...
Zev, what are you doing?
I am much sneakier than this. I am
But
sorry.
you do see, as sort of that sound startles something in the treetops,
Oh, hell.
what looks kind of like a panther, but maybe about 8 feet long with...
Is it riding a gorilla?
No, it's got 6 legs and a couple of these weird appendages coming out of the top of its back. You can roll a nature check since you've had a look at it.
Ooh, 18.
All right, this is very similar to the tentacles on its back are reminiscent of the blink raptors that you fought before, and this is a displacer beast. What you know about these is they're pretty nasty. They hunt kind of for sport, and they've got kind of these big tentacles on their back, and they can make an illusion of themselves to kind of make them look like they're in multiple places at the same time, which is where they get their name from.
Okay.
And you just kind of watch it jump from one treetop to another and sort of stand in a position ready to pounce, hoping that it's hidden from you, but you definitely saw where it went. It's about... There's maybe 2 or 3 trees between you and it on the other side of the creek, but you can see it. It's maybe 30 feet away right now.
Now I am
Okay.
all wet. This is not a good day.
Are your socks wet too?
What are socks?
Did you say what are socks
What?
or water socks?
Yes. I am a man ahead of my time. Not only have I invented socks, I have invented water socks.
I'm sorry, if you mean to tell me we've all been walking around here without socks on, I think not.
Says the barbarian.
Hey, she lived.
She's wearing
terrible.
Uggs.
Yeah, Aaron canonically wears
You
Uggs.
can't wear Uggs without socks. Those would be some ripe Uggs.
That's why people say ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hey, don't splash my Uggs. Okay. Should I roll initiative?
Well, I mean, it hasn't made any
Can I get a
move at
surprise
you.
round?
It's
Can
up.
I-
It's up to you what you want to do.
What I want to do is cast Snare using the First Blood property of my Beastlands bandana.
Cool.
I don't know what any of that means.
I don't think I have the snare spell on there for you.
No, you don't.
It might take a minute to cast. But I can look it up for you.
5E.
I have a really funny idea if it attacks us.
Casting time, 1 minute.
I mean, you can still do that. It's not
Yeah,
just
nothing's happened
approaching
yet.
you, but snare. That would be before Spirit Guardians. There's a lot of SP spells in here, by the way.
All the cleric spells.
Is snare in
Spirit that.
Is snare in Xanathar's or something? You have it
Snares
up.
on Google.
Do you want to read it?
While you cast a spell for 1 minute, you use a cord or rope to create a circle within a 5-foot radius on a flat surface within your reach. When you finish casting, the cord or rope disappears to become a magical trap. The trap is nearly invisible and requires a successful intelligence check against your spell save DC to be found. The trap triggers when a small creature or larger moves into the area protected by the spell. The triggering creature must succeed on a dex saving throw or fall prone and be hoisted into the air until it hangs upside down 3 feet above the protected surface where it is restrained. It can make a dex saving throw with disadvantage at the end of each of its turns and ends a restrained effect on a success. Alternatively, another creature that can reach the restrained creature can use an action to make an intelligence check against your spell save DC. On a success, the restrained effect also ends.
Okay. So you could definitely draw kind of a circle kind of in the ground, lay some rope down, and create kind of this magical trap if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So you're doing that on your side of the creek.
Yeah.
Okay. It's there. While you're doing that, Zev, what are you doing during that minute?
I am waiting and watching her do this.
So you crawl back out of the river, back
Yes,
onto your side.
I do.
What are you doing?
That was Russian.
Go ahead and
That's me.
roll
That was-
Zev a normal perception check,
Always sounds like
and Aaron roll a perception check at disadvantage since you're kind of working on the snare.
Natural
5.
20.
Okay, this time Zev, Aaron points at the displacer beast before she starts making the trap, and you keep your eyes right on it. Careful not to take any steps forward into the creek.
I point before I start making my snare. I point at the beast and then look at Zev and I point at it again. I point at his eyes and I point at it again.
And Zev keeps a good eye on it as you watch the beast sort of move south a little bit along the creek edge, but still kind of in the treetops, and then jump down to the ground in an area kind of obscured by some brush, but you can sort of see its tentacles peeking up over the top as it sits down, looking like it might be looking for an opportunity to jump across the creek.
While Aaron is still casting this, Zev is going to continually point to his eyes and point to the beast and point to her eyes and point back to the beast. So she's updated. I mean,
On where it is.
annoyingly constantly.
Okay. It's a little distracting as you make your trap, but you manage to finish the
1 minute
ritual
and 5
and create the
seconds.
trap. Yes. What would you like to do at this point?
Get its attention?
Okay, how do you want to do that?
Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Okay.
Who is a good boy?
So you call out kind of across the creek toward it. Zev, and I guess Arn, since he sort of points it out to you where it is, you kind of see the thing raise its head, kind of cock over to the side, and it takes a leap across the creek. It's about, it might be 40 feet south of where you are right now, and there is a little bit of brush on this side of the creek. There's not really any big trees until the orchard, which is a little ways away. And it tries to get into kind of that cover of the brush down there.
So it's jumping away from us or towards us?
More or less kind of diagonal from you. Like, it's it's jumping toward you in terms of it's moving from east to west. That's getting it closer to you. But then it's moving further away from you because it's moving more south. And you're north of it.
Okay.
So it's about 40 feet due south of you around a little
I
crook
don't
of
want to
the...
attack it if we don't have to.
It is
It's the
a
thing.
monster.
Yeah, but I don't like killing things without knowing that they intend to hurt me.
Have you seen that thing? At the very least, it is a predator. It eats meat. And
So
it's-
do you.
Yes. That is a discussion for another day. This
Look,
one
I
is
have some
much bigger
pamphlets
than me.
here.
It is going to be a threat.
Roll a persuasion check, Aaron.
It's not going to be hard.
Nat 1.
Even Zev is
Wait,
You're
my-
still hungry for meat.
With my charisma modifier, that's a -1.
It doesn't turn you off the idea of meat at all. That's the
I'm getting
conversation.
hungry. Eldritch Blast.
No,
poof.
come
Okay,
on.
that'll be considered a surprise
I don't
round.
want to attack it first.
Where are you guys in relation to your trap?
Oh, the trap. The trap would be in front of us, right? Between us and the thing.
You circle around behind the trap.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then boof, boof.
All right, roll Eldritch Blast.
One is a 15 plus 7.
Yes,
The other one
yes.
is a natural 20.
No, yes, they both hit.
Okay. Those are D10s. So the roll the 15 first. That's going to be a 5 plus 4, 9.
Okay.
And then 9, 6 plus 4, so 19.
19 on the second,
Correct.
so 28 total. Wow. Those shrubs that were around the Displacer Beasts are no more, so the possible shrubby 3 and 4 gone into the creek. I hope you're happy. Then you see revealed the Displacer Beasts that immediately kind of projects an illusion of itself beside itself after you hit it. And then I think we're going to have to roll some initiative. This one will be a little bit simpler than the last fight. Oof. That's no good for me.
11.
21.
Jeez, Zev.
There's blasting this thing.
Zev does not fuck around.
It's not even going to make it to you guys.
I just wanted to see if it could be
Just-
reasoned with.
Kitty!
Kitty with strange tentacles coming out of his back.
Yeah, I'm just okay, but like,
you saw-
what's his name?
Malkovich.
Malkovich is a monster too. I'm just saying, I don't want to kill something if it didn't intend to harm anyone in the first place, and I don't have
It
any
did.
proof that it did.
I maintain that as a meat eater, it would have harmed something eventually.
You're
And it's
also
blighted.
a
That's
what it
meat
looks
eater.
like.
And I
Oh.
intend to harm something eventually.
Kitty, yeah, it looks like a panther. Yeah. Okay. Zev, you're definitely first.
I intend to harm this thing now. So how far away is it?
40 feet.
40 feet. All right. Let's go ahead and bonus action Hexblade's Curse.
Okay.
And
It's
then I am going to charge and run up to it and hit the sucker with my giant sword.
Just roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh, big money, no whammies. Oh, 6.
Zev, you saw Aaron making the trap. But in your glee
Yep.
of seeing the Displacer Beast in front of you, and after just
very
roaming
on
the
brand.
shrubs from it, you charge forward into the trap. What does he have to? Is there a check he rolls
It's
to
a
see if he's
dex
caught?
save.
It's a DC 13.
Dex save.
Dex
Make a
save.
dexterity saving throw.
Yep, this is on brand as hell right here.
Please fail.
4.
Yes. Okay.
Wait, no, 6.
Zev charges forward, steps in the trap.
Zev, wait!
The magical rope grabbing him around both ankles as he starts swinging back and forth in the space between you and the kitty.
He has
point
one
of-
charge per day, Zev.
Was that a dex save?
Mechanical point of order.
Yes.
Since I did not travel over 30 feet, can I still use an Eldritch Blast? Since it is my turn.
If you
Since
can
you
aim
didn't
hanging
dash.
upside down.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
you can.
I am going to try to Eldritch
You're going to be at
Blast.
disadvantage.
I'm okay with that.
You also take 1d6 piercing damage if you end your turn within the snare.
Okay.
Okay. So that's going to be... One is... Sorry. The lowest one on this one was a 15.
That does hit.
Okay.
It's pretty big.
That's, 8 plus 4, 12.
Yeah.
Wait, add proficiency to damage rolls. So 12 plus 3, 15. Because of the
Wow.
Hexblade's Curse.
Very good.
Second blast. Lowest is 8 plus 4 plus 3. It's 15 again.
That also hits.
Okay. For... that's 10 plus 3 plus 4, 17.
Holy cow. So that's another 32 on top of the 28 you did the first time.
And what do I have to do to get out of this thing? Roll.
Another dex saving throw at the end of your turn.
Okay.
Disadvantage.
So the first thing, the Displacer Beast's second illusion fades as it gets blasted with the Eldritch Blast. You still would have been at disadvantage because you're upside down in the magic
Not
trap.
one.
And you're still upside down in the trap.
And so you take 1d6 damage.
You can go ahead and roll it. Tell me what I get to subtract.
You can
Oh,
roll
me?
it since it's your trap, sure.
Zev, you watched me make the trap.
I have to kill it.
That's a 6.
Ouch.
As he's side to side in front of Aaron, back and forth like a pendulum. And it's your turn, Aaron.
He's so tunnel visioned. He literally just boom, boom, hits the thing really hard. Why do my ankles?
He basically hit this thing with 4 Eldritch Blasts.
One of which was a
as you
crit.
watched one time it into 2, back into 1, and it just roars and starts to get ready to pounce.
Hey,
It's a good
kitty,
thing you're hanging in
kitty.
place.
The bad man's. I caught him. He's not going to hurt you anymore. It's okay.
Like
Why don't
hell
you
I'm
just
not.
go off into the wilderness? Go on, scram. Get out of here.
Oh, it's cursed now. I have
Roll
to
an
kill
old
it.
Yeller check?
I have a white fang check.
Oh, okay.
Get your movies right.
I don't think there's, after this thing's taken,
Yeah,
60
I know.
points
I
of
just feel
damage.
Bad.
God,
I don't want to hurt it.
I don't think like if you want to try to intimidate it because it's been hurt and scare it off into the woods, you might be able to try that. But
Well, she did say scram.
right,
Did
It's
say scram.
that's
Scram
up to you
being
on what
such an
exactly you're
intimidating word.
trying to do here.
Scram.
Scram.
Only in the
I don't know. My
1930s.
mask had all of my cool abilities. I have nothing now. Would the cape
She will
command
literally be
work on
level
it?
20.
That only will work on humanoids.
Okay.
And it is a tentacular pantheroid.
But I do have the feet for my
I have feet as well.
They're
I do
stuck in a
have
trap.
With water socks.
for my my bloodlines thing where I can use my intimidation or my
Beast heart.
my strength modifier I
For
think?
intimidation?
Yeah, for intimidation checks instead of my charisma. So
Okay.
I guess I'm just gonna yell at it real good.
All right. It's taken a lot of damage, so I'll let you roll an intimidation check at it.
If I'm proficient in strength, would I add my proficiency?
No, you're just rolling a
Those are
strength
for saving
intimidation
throws.
check instead of a charisma intimidation check.
20.
Yeah, that beats my 1 minus 1
Aww.
on his charisma.
Bye,
So
kitty.
after it gets hit a couple times, you watch it back over the creek and then start kind of off the sides of the trees, getting higher and higher and using its
Eldritch
dash
Blast.
movement to
Come
move.
on, it's not your turn.
It moves with its dash 80 feet across the creek and up into the treetops,
Wasted a
away and
perfectly good
displaces itself into sort of 2 images as it goes.
It was too beautiful to die.
I wasted a perfectly good curse on that.
I wasted a perfectly good trap.
Okay.
Speaking of that, can I get down now?
I want you to think about what you did for another minute.
All right, roll a dexterity saving
That's
throw.
every 6 seconds is a turn, so in a minute I'm going to take 10d6 worth of damage.
Only if you keep failing. Roll a dexterity
Okay, try to
saving
get out one more time, and then I'll let you go.
15.
You're out.
17.
Yeah. You manage to figure out how to untangle the magical rope and shimmy your legs out and crash down onto the ground onto your shoulders, but seemingly not taking any more harm.
I help him up.
Boy, this
You
was...
dolt.
That was fun. That was a fun little adventure.
That
I'm
was-
much more.
it was a
Yeah, I
good
really
fight.
enjoyed this adventure.
That was good.
That was a very good fight.
Back. Who's still back?
Kira
at
and
Pippi.
Grease Wizard.
Kira and GW. Pippi receives another note from this time a very harried-looking pigeon who has almost
I thought you were gonna say
no
hairy.
feathers on its head
Just hair.
at this point.
Oh.
She removes the note from it. She says, "Oh, Charlie, what happened to you? You were one of the ones I sent with Henna." And she takes the note off of it and pulls it
Bites
out.
her finger.
And she starts scanning over the note from Henna and says, "Kira, what's your name again? People just call you Greasy? That doesn't seem very nice."
Where is Henna?
Hold on, it's rude to interrupt. What was it?
He's asking God.
And that's good audio. Henna,
But
you're
you can call me
asking
Tim,
me
Grease Wizard.
instead of Pippi.
Yes.
Penelope.
Reminder where
Henna went south to scout among sort of the nasty stuff that's down there. So she's sending back word. Henna has a note that says, basically, in short form, quickly, that there is a force of actual, she just says, men that are going to strike after the sun comes up, basically at dawn.
Men?
Is that
Yeah.
men like
Men.
males or men like human men?
Men like human.
Like
probably.
people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Human.
People. I can handle people.
She says that they have
but wait,
commanded.
they all have guns.
There's a what she knows more about, though, is she's been with, and she has sent Pippi this message before, that she's been with a few drow who were taken into service of this kind of commander who was controlling the unturned sort of people that are helping in this assault, and looting and pillaging along the way. They've contracted these drow to work with them, and Henna's sort of infiltrated and pretended to be a part of the group, is basically what the previous messages Pippi relates have told you.
So she's a spy.
Kinda, yeah. She says they aren't happy about it, but the drow have been told to strike at dawn after the main assault begins on the southern wall. You may want to take the fight to them. I'll be there waiting for my chance. I'll try to be on watch last before dawn. There's a bastard and a lieutenant. The lieutenant is just as strong as he is, or stronger, but not as cutthroat. One of them, at least, is awake at all times. They've got others in their command. Be cautious if you approach. Be even more cautious if you leave them to their devices. They will hide and strike when you least like it. She relates that
So, stealth mission. Great.
they are actually planning to tunnel into the town. And actually, when you hear that, you start to feel the ground rumbling and a scream echo out from the injured folks near the Raventree.
Uh-oh.
What do you do?
Clippy, go check that out.
Okay, Clippy. How fast does Clippy fly?
20.
Not too fast.
Well, how far away are we?
Can he dash?
You're from the Tagada to the Raventree, where you kind of hear the screams coming from in that direction. You're talking at a run, couple minutes.
Well, do we need to get there faster?
I guess we're still gone at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it seems like we won't get a long rest or even a short rest from now until the main. So, if we need to get there faster, I can get us there fast. Do you want to go there fast, Kira? Come on. This conversation.
Get there how fast?
100 feet? A speed of 100 feet. Do you want that?
Sure.
What does that mean?
Are you misty stepping again?
Oh no!
And then a giant spectral bumblebee appears. And one of the beads on my necklace has been removed.
Mm-hmm.
I pull it off, and I start bzzz, and a giant spectral bee emerges from it.
Or I could have summoned an elk, and we could have actually ridden on something that...
You can ride this, Kira. His name is Barry, the bumblebee.
You see this giant bumblebee, again, spectral in nature, kind of this golden, transparent creature. It looks a little bit like your deer of healing, appear in front of you, and the grease wizard just vaults onto its back and waves for you to get on.
Come on, the stinger won't hurt you, I don't think.
Well, if it's Barry, it can't. I jump onto.
All right, and the bee takes off and makes a beeline toward the Raventree, I suppose.
And we all take psychic damage.
I liked it.
As Sam expends one of his necklace of BB beads. All right,
Bees?
so you get up over, about how high do you want to be as you approach?
Nah.
Over the tree line. Like over the... A little bit over, like 30 feet, I guess.
So as the dawn breaks behind him.
There's not a ton of flying creatures anymore at this level. They're more up higher. So you have a pretty safe journey across. And as you kind of do a quick circle around the Raventree, you see sort of rocks and things start popping up out of the ground. And about the time you get there, you see sort of a heave up in the ground, but you don't necessarily see any creature yet. But it looks like something big is under the earth.
I cast Shatter
Okay.
as as lightning damage.
Okay. On the sort of mound of earth that's erupting.
Yes.
So I have to make a save, is that right?
Yes.
What kind?
Okay, hold on.
It's pretty good, so it definitely
Keep in mind
matters.
it's probably a surprise.
Yes, this is a surprise round.
Constitution saving throw.
All right, that's
What's a
a
Rock's
18 then.
Yes, that passes.
All right, so he's going to take half.
But maybe the lightning being, underground, and maybe the lightning will travel a little. No,
Not really,
okay.
but you will hit it. So roll the
Can I just do thunder damage then?
sure.
Okay, that's the normal. 8, 2, 5, 15.
15, so 7. Okay. Just as you do that, and the thunder kind of the rocks up into the air, and you see the people who were there sort of taking healing start scattering away. And this thing is maybe, luckily, not right in the roots of the Raventree where it erupts, which would have been unfortunate, but maybe 25 feet from it or so. Pops up, you see this white... It looks like it has kind of the face of a dragon, and at first you think there's a dragon popping out of the ground, but then as it gets its feet put forward, you kind of see that this is more of like a crawling dragonoid-type creature. Kira or GW could make a nature check.
Or-
Kira, what are your favorite enemies?
Beast and Fae.
All right, that won't apply.
Both of us can?
Mm-hmm.
23.
Ooh. All right.
Still good, but not that good.
This is not like a dragon that you're probably going to find in the wild someplace, but this is like it's a white guard drake, and you've read that during your time with Crinkle that sometimes these are put in the service of creatures like Drow or Duragar, and they use them to tunnel out in the Underdark and things along those lines because they can burrow.
Mm-hmm. And what do I find is their weakness?
They don't have a particular vulnerability to any sort of damage.
Do I know what they're strong, like what they're resistant?
They don't have any of those either.
Cool.
Okay. So with that probably ends the surprise round as this thing bursts out of the ground. We'll roll some initiative, I suppose.
Can it kill me by looking at me?
I don't think so. 7.
19.
I'll probably be in the middle. 7.
I have
I'm
plus
after you.
3. Oh.
Your dex is higher. So Kira's first. I don't remember the numbers, but it don't really matter.
Nope.
Unless I
19.
bring anything else in. Then I'll figure it out. 19?
Yes.
All right. Go for it.
My tunic of Displace Dat Place.
Okay.
I
To
rolled a
do what?
12.
To turn on Displace?
Yes.
Okay.
Phew, I rolled a 12. Not a 17 to 20. Okay. And then Sharpshooter.
Okay. So subtract 5 when you're all done with the addition.
13 plus 9.
22 minus 5, 17.
Yes.
Yes, that hits. So Kira from B-back aims down toward the guard drake, sticks one into its back for how much damage? It's below max health, so...
Oh, it is? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he hit it with Shatter.
I got you, Kira.
Trying to remember how to play this character. Not great. 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 3, 10.
10 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. Stick it right into its back from above. And
Oh, wait, plus 5. No, plus 10.
10 for Sharpshooter. That's a lot. 20 damage.
Sweet. Okay. Less bad. Ha!
Reaches back like something's behind it, stabbing it where it got shot, and it's trying to sort of snap out at it as people all around it are scattering. And take a second shot?
Yes.
You can with Kira.
And how high are we?
About 30 feet.
Yeah.
Nah. 6 plus 8, 7, 14, 15.
15 hits. Was that Sharpshooter again?
No.
Okay.
That's slightly better. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, for regular damage.
Yeah. So another arrow down from above, right next to the other one in this thing's shoulder blade, and you watch it stumble just as it was going to take a bite out of one of the spearmen that was fleeing in front of it. And it...
Wait, wasn't that a bonus action? My second attack?
No, it's part of your action.
Okay, sweet. Just double checking. Can I get off, please?
Sure.
Without dying.
It's your turn, GW.
Drop down 30 feet.
Where do you want to drop? How close to the creature?
Where do you want to go, Kira?
Just want to get off because I currently have another version of me floating next to us.
All right, jump. I get to a point where I just go
How
down.
far down can...
Well, I can go wherever I want.
He's got 100-something feet of movement or whatever, 100 feet of movement.
Okay.
So how far from the thing do you want to be when you get off?
About 60, 70 feet.
Okay, sure. That's easy enough. You can get, if you want to be within the wall of hedges, probably
Yeah.
about the farthest you could be is like 40 feet from it
Okay.
at one point. But you can get dropped off there kind of in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would you like to do?
Go back up about 30 feet, and I would like to... How bad does this thing look?
After those shots went into its back, it's really stumbling around, so it looks like it got pretty hurt by those arrow strikes into it.
I will go ahead and do a... You know what? I'm going to cast Grease
Okay.
right underneath it by the... because it's in the hole, right?
Not really in the hole. I mean, it burst up and it started charging at people. So it's not in the hole that it made anymore. It's on the ground. But it's chasing after some of the... basically right now, a couple of the injured spearmen that Baba Ganoush was healing, who broke off and were running in the one direction that left them inside the thorns instead of toward the exit. It's charging at them.
Okay, then that changes what I'll do. I'm going to cast another Shatter on it.
All right. That's a 14.
It
Let's save, so that fails.
It fails. So that's 3d8. 5, 3, 5.
13?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you watch as this thing, that's thunder damage again, just kind of gets blasted, kind of falls over on its side and skids more or less toward Kira, uses half of its movement to stand up, and then dashes toward her to try to reach her, but that's all it can do this turn with its dash action. Wait a minute. It has a burrow move speed, so it's actually going to, right before it's going to go under the ground toward Kira and sort of vanish in that direction.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Pick me up. You don't know exactly how far it gets under the ground. But it was sort of jumping toward you as it back under the ground, and you can feel the ground shaking again.
I'm thinking.
Kira starts shooting wildly into the dirt.
I will be moving away from where I am. I'm just going to run towards where it came up by the Raventree.
Okay. Do you want to do anything, hold an action or anything?
Yes, hold attacks.
So if it appears, you hold your attack action?
Yes, if it's in melee range, then it'll be short swords, and if it's not melee, can I specify that?
You'll pretty much have to pick your weapon that you want to ready an attack with.
Blackwood bow, I guess.
Okay. Grease Wizard, what would you like to do?
Go fly over to the hole that it originally came up.
Okay.
And it looks like a tunnel down there, right?
Not really like right where it came up. This thing's fairly small. I mean, it's not much bigger than maybe like a St. Bernard. Maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, not quite as hefty. And it only really, where it emerged, didn't leave a huge tunnel right there.
So it's not like a tunnel for people to...
Not at least where it burst out of the ground.
All right, well, Clippy is spinning 360s
Yeah.
just kind of looking,
an eye out
keeping
for
an
it.
eye on everything.
Okay.
And already a shatter.
Okay. So this thing bursts out of the ground between where Kira was and where it was at first. So Kira would be first with the readied action, so you can shoot your bow.
Yes.
Because that would trigger it.
No. 12, 13.
That doesn't hit, but if you ready your attack action, you get 2 attacks. You can still, that's part of your attack action, so you
Nat
can still
20.
make it. Okay, that will hit.
With sharpshooter, right? That was with sharpshooter added.
No.
But you roll double your damage dice, so that's double your arrow die, double your Colossus Slayer die, and then add your modifier.
And only add my modifier once.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 3, 6 plus 6 is 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Okay, so this thing was looking kind of bad off when it went under the ground, and when it bursts up out of the ground, the first arrow, whoop, bink, just misses, but the second one, you have a little bit more time to ready and get this thing right as it's sort of still coming down, and you get it in the soft underbelly,
Yay!
Yes!
Finally!
and it careens onto the ground and skids to a halt right near some of the fleeing people. But it looks like you have dispatched the Drake.
Walk over and nudge it with my foot.
It's definitely dead. It's sort of covered in these white scales, similar to a dragon.
Survival roll.
but
I'm going to take some.
Smaller than most that you see.
Harvest whatever I can from
Oh,
it.
me too.
13.
How long are you spending doing this?
5-10 minutes, depending on how needed I am.
Okay. So you start skinning it. You get maybe like a dozen of these small scales off of it. They're like quarter-sized.
And maybe I can cut off a section of the skin as well to be made into armor by somebody, possibly. Because that'd be really cool looking armor.
Probably not with that roll. You probably just get some scales.
You can glue those scales on
Yeah.
like a
You can
bedazzle.
try to use them
Bedazzled
for studs
armor.
on your leather armor, sure.
Coming to you this
What did you roll on your survival check?
4. So I look at it. I don't care.
You just kind of dig your hands in where Kira already pulled the scales off.
That's rude.
Hi, I'm Mike, and you're listening to the Date Night Podcast. If you're interested in our homebrew content, such as class and race options or other unique things about the show, you can check that out from our Friendly Neighborhood Game Moms Dungeon Master Guild page. So some of them are free, some of them are pay what you want, and others are just a few dollars and are used they really do help us out. You can find all of these by going to our website, d8nightpodcast.com, and clicking on the store tab, or by going to dmsguild.com and searching for Will Mayer. Now, I've seen some of Will's content. Actually, I've seen it all. But the titles are Path of the Fury for the Barbarian, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Rules for Building Your Own Homunculus, which is just horrifying, Bloodlines, A Guide to New Playable Races, Backgrounds and Feats, and Crinkle Fire Touch's Guide for the homebrew magic items made specifically for this campaign. Speaking of that campaign, let's get back to it and hear what's in store next for our characters.
Jump back on the bee.
Mm-hmm.
Kira, you want to join me on the bee?
I guess the bee is faster than the elk would be.
You're correct. You want to jump on the bee with me?
Fine.
Ah, I see. You want to join the bee?
All right. As you get up on the bee, you see
His name is Barry.
Team Shrubby returning from the dragon fight,
R.I.P.
kind of
Shrubby.
haggard along the path between the Raventree and Jerry and Jenny's Gem and Junk Juicer to the north of it, as they start heading back toward Tagada. And roll a perception check while you're up there, if you would.
Hearing or sight, never mind that
Sight.
20.
You also see across the river,
See infinity.
across the Kokiku River.
I see the Catapletus
This
is
displacer-
800 miles away.
No,
It's dead.
the Displacer Beast
Yeah.
jumping across Kama Creek and fleeing as Zev falls out of the sky upside down onto his shoulder, and you start heading. Is it back toward Tagada, or where are you heading?
Where does it look like we're needed most?
You do with that perception check, kind of a quick pan around the
Clippy's still doing
edge of
360s,
the
too.
city. You see kind of everybody who was around the Raventree sort of fleeing because they were mostly the injured people. But with the rumble, you see Fury and her squad of spearmen kind of march into the tree that has thorns around it too. They're just shorter, and start kind of patrolling around and looking at the holes on the dead creature and starting to drag it out of that area. You see near the wall, kind of things have lightened up in terms of the creatures that are attacking. The creatures who are flying have sort of taken a more upward path, so they've sort of risen up a little bit higher. And it looks like, at least for the moment, there's no immediate threats around the city. The creek looks calm where that big crocodile thing had come up and attacked Spree.
Calm, comma creek.
And it looks like there's not any real immediate threats.
I used a bead. I'm going to keep riding the bee.
Okay.
For sure.
Is my cloak still fuzzing me? Because it says attacks for 1 round. So is it just for that 1 round, or
Yeah, it's
waiting
faded
until I
in.
have... Okay.
Well, Kira, what you want to do? Do you want to go get some of those buzzards up there? You want me to drop you off, and I'll go get some buzzards up there?
How high are they?
Now they're probably 600 feet up in the air.
No.
All right. I'll drop her off,
Nope.
and then start rising.
All right. You rise
Your
up
funeral.
into the kind of the first area that hasn't been cleared out above there is more of the smaller creatures. Make your perception check as you move up there.
Do you mean investigation?
No.
9.
Just see a few sort of flocks of birds moving. I mean, you've watched crows before, and it's rare that you see them flying around without one sort of taking a minute to harass another one or anything like that. But these aren't doing that. These are just sort of circling, almost unaware of very much that's going on.
Okay. Do they look bad?
It's hard to tell. It's dark. They're blackbirds.
It's not dawn yet.
Yeah, I'm just going to blast them with fire bolts.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron would approve.
We had a note from Henna
That's
about
it.
we should go talk to go confront the drow.
Oh, yeah, we did have that. We should go do that.
Well, do you want to blast a group?
I'll blast
We
a
like to
couple
blast
rounds.
some crows
I'll blast
first.
a couple rounds of these crows.
All right. I don't think I'll make you roll for
Welcome
that
to
so
Crow
much
Blaster.
because they're just kind of swarms and they're pretty easy to hit. So with a couple of fire bolts, you do smash into some of the crows with them, and they fall kind of flaming toward the ground like little meteorites. But you don't really clean out the whole swarm most of the time. Just a few of them fall, and then the others try to like rise higher up among where the bigger birds are.
Okay.
Some do sort of get out of right above town, and it seems like they fly to the north or south, away a little bit.
Okay.
It's definitely scatter a few.
Trixie hitting back.
Yeah, you don't all arrive back quite at the same time, but as you're sort of there back by the Tagada, eventually everybody from their disparate missions trickle back in again near there. Alani's not there anymore. She's you passed her. You could talk to her if you want, but she was heading toward the Raventree to sort of make sure everything was okay down there. But Pippi's there. A few other people who are taking a rest who were displaced from being near the Raventree, like Baba Ganoush, are all there.
Oh, you need a place for these injured folks.
Yes, we've been displaced from the Raventree.
Is there a nice big field that I can utilize?
There's the rice paddies that are not planted. We've harvested them already. Or across the river, there's the winter wheat crops that we've brought in and just what's left of the straw in the field.
Do I see a nice clear space that's close to the Raventree that is 120 feet or so?
Oh, yeah. The around the Raventree, when it's not in the thorns, to the northeast of it is where the Blorp Beast grazing fields are. So there's a huge field there, too.
Are there any blort beasts close to the Raventree? This end of the field.
Well, they scattered through the town
Okay.
and ran actually like into the woods because of the dragon. So they're kind of scattered at this point. They're not really in the grazing field.
Make your house. You're good.
Would you like to meet Rupert?
Have I already met Rupert?
No, because you couldn't come in.
That's right. Sure, let's meet Rupert.
You can meet him now.
What is happening?
Okay.
I take out this nice dollhouse and set it on the ground, and 1 minute playing with it. I hate you guys. I hate you. I hate you too. And it becomes a nice, huge, pretty stately manor house, complete with garden and wrought iron gate.
Yeah, so you watch as Trixie, the owling, says, "Did you need a place to stay?" And she goes into the field, and whoever follows her,
starts playing
and
with a
plays with a
dollhouse.
toy until all of a sudden it's a giant, stately manor with a big hedge-covered garden, big wrought iron gate, and kind of obscured, foggy windows that you can see from the from where you are. Also, just for an update, you've been fighting kind of through the night. You're thinking it's maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours from dawn.
We
At this
lass. If we go in here, can we hear outside of the house?
We could have someone stay by the door. And I'll let anyone in this village that is on our side come in.
Maybe I'll meet Rupert later, just in case.
Who is?
No, you need to go inside, because I have a good feeling about if you eat a meal from him. If he makes you a dinner.
I mean, I'm actually doing okay right now. Fine. I'll go inside and I'm going to touch the door.
All right. As you do this time,
And I suggest, while he starts walking up, we should also have all of our main champions, our 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, plus any of the,
Two of us plus 6 of our
4
closest
more.
friends.
And 4 more of the champions can come inside too, and they should have some of this nice meal that Rupert is going to be making for us.
okay, so you can pick who that would be, I suppose.
Alani,
Okay,
Fury,
okay.
Meg,
Sure.
and I'm assuming Meg is not the one
pieces.
wearing the funny hat. Funny hat lady? Sorry.
The masked
Did you
lady.
just call the Mask of the Pride Lands the funny hat?
I did.
That's a sacred heirloom.
I'm sorry, I don't know what a sacred heirloom is. And she tucks her necklace into her shirt.
Okay.
Bye! Squawks in through the door.
All right, so Dern goes in first. Trixie quickly
that was a
behind
hell of a
her.
thing.
And does anybody else follow into this?
Am I there?
I don't think I've poofed before.
That was up to you if you followed this procession into the field, but
You
it seemed
should.
like she was trying to get you guys too.
The creek.
No,
All right.
you guys all came back and were sort of standing around catching each other
Yeah,
up. on what
Barry,
happened.
you stay right here. All right, buzz once if you understand. All right, thank you. And I go inside.
Rupert, are you here?
Rupert's right by the door as you come
Rupert!
in, and he. Oh, I wasn't expecting to see you. I
You
wasn't
remember me!
expecting to see anyone really.
Rupert.
You remember
Rupert?
me?
See, Rupert?
If
Am
you
I
come
going
in, yeah.
I'm going in.
As soon as you touch the door, you go in.
Do you remember me? And I'm hopping up and down excitedly.
Yes, you were very nice to me.
The house is mine now.
It's yours.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on your new estate.
I feel like I missed.
Where's the beer?
Oh, yes, of course. What?
This is Dern.
Dern. It
he's
is
my
a
friend
pleasure
now.
To meet you.
Holla.
She has
Dern, who raised you?
named me.
Dwarfs.
I guess this is the first time I get to introduce myself. My name is Rupert.
Hi, it's very nice to meet you. I'm Darren Hammerstone. Where's the
Rupert
beer?
Like a person?
He's a ghost.
He is a blue spectral man, sort of a human in shape and form, dressed in very fancy attire, almost velveteen in its composition.
Well,
And
Rupert.
Rupert says, "Oh yes, the
Be nice to
beer.
him.
I will go down to the basement and retrieve it."
Thank
Can you make them a really nice meal, please?
With beer.
How nice of a meal.
Beer.
Well, I am the king of magic, so
my God.
make a meal.
Would you shush? This is my house. Now shush.
Vegetarian
Shush.
option would be nice.
Okay, yes.
Shush.
It's like Downton Abbey
Shush.
in here.
a really nice meal, at least for these people, because I don't know if you can make a really nice meal for everybody in this village, but yes, especially for this group.
Certainly. We would begin with that, and then I can cook what else we have on hand for anybody else
Yes,
who arrives.
please. Thank you.
Very good. Come to the kitchen, and he motions for you to go straight forward. There's kind of this double staircase that goes up here in the foyer, up to a big hallway,
Which one's the up?
and he's leading you
Both.
to the middle
Wait,
of those two stairs through this hallway into the kitchen.
And Kira walks
so
in
we're
kind
all
of
here
dazed.
now?
Mm-hmm. I think so. I think that was the idea.
I don't believe I went in.
Yeah, because which one is up sounded more like a Zev thing to ask.
No, that was definitely down.
So, who is here? Let's get an idea.
Grease
of here.
wizard.
Okay.
Arin.
Trixie said everybody should come in and send
Okay.
Alani and Fury and Mag and the other one.
All right.
I'm still waiting
Nina.
for beer. I'm still waiting for beer.
He's gone down to the basement, and he's come back up with a keg.
I open the
that's
door
mine.
and yell out,
Darn.
Zev, free food!
Dern
It
just
actually kind of floats the keg over onto a table in the corner of the room, and he taps it in the bottom.
Dern sets his chair directly underneath the tap.
And he turns, as you sit under it, I think he keeps the tap closed, but then he starts heading over to a cupboard.
Thank you,
in
that'll be a
the
good lad.
kitchen. All right. As he goes to the cupboard, he opens it up and he retrieves this bowl that's encrusted with fine jewels. It looks very valuable. He takes it, he puts it onto the table, and he pulls sort of this silver spoon out of the drawer beneath it.
The cat's in
And
the
he
cradle
kind of
in the silver.
Taps it on the side, and you hear him kind of whisper and sort of just wave his hand, and immediately what was just an empty table in front of you is full of a feast.
Whoa!
Oh, that's a fancy feast right there.
And there are sort of sweetmeats, and there are pies.
Sausages?
Here comes
Yes.
a dwarven
sausages.
cannonball.
Didn't know anything could get him away from the beer.
I start scarfing the sausages.
There are lots of vegetable offerings
Talented.
and quiches.
I've got like
And-
7 sausages in my mouth at any given moment. Just sucking them down.
But what are you eating at the feast?
I don't know what's so funny. I'm just eating some sausages.
Oh boy! Look at him with those sausages.
Oh,
Can Calvin come in too?
Yeah,
And eat?
yeah, he can
He
eat.
was one of us, wasn't he?
Kalman, he's not digging in like everybody else, but he's trying like tiny little bits of each one, and he seems very content.
These taste a
part of
little
the table.
different. What
they're
meat is
not
this?
made of people.
Oh.
People?
The sausages
He's
are
weird,
beef
lass. Stay away.
sausages.
You have people?
I don't like him very much.
No,
Neither do
we
I,
don't
but he just
have
kind of tags along.
people.
People
Greasy,
sausages.
can you behave
Fine,
for like
all right.
a second?
Fine, I'll just eat these sausages. I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay. 'Cause my
But
mouth is
all of
full.
these foods are sourced without any animals, all magically.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I still don't feel good about it.
Well, there are vegetable options.
Made with butter.
Well, Arin isn't a vegan. She's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all of our true
I would
fans will
recommend
know.
the quiche.
Made with eggs.
Not vegan.
We killed the chicken just to make a point. Once we took its eggs.
We ripped the eggs out while it was still alive.
Oh,
It's called the Rupert Special.
That poor magic chicken.
All right. So this qualifies as a hero's feast, in fact.
Yay.
This is exciting.
So during this time, which takes an hour, you will need to do any discussing you would like to do during
Oh.
that time.
sorry, bee friend.
You are cured of diseases and poison, and you're also immune to poison and to being frightened. You
For how
have
long?
for 24 hours.
Ooh.
You have an advantage on wisdom saves. And here's the fun part. your hit point maximum increases by 2d10, and you gain that amount of points, and that also lasts for 24 hours.
All right.
Calman will drink his potion so that his Winston water so that he can figure this out.
And I rolled 16
But you
for a
guys,
2d10.
they didn't get the feast, though.
I did.
Yeah.
You picked 4 people, right?
No, 4
12
NPCs.
people.
12
Oh.
can have the feast. So how many extra hit points do we get?
I
2d10.
rolled 16.
2d10.
So you can either take mine
No,
or you can...
yeah, we take hers. So
Okay.
16 is...
Oh.
Calman's up way high. And you can heal those. Those are
Yes.
your current max hit points. They're not temporary hit points.
80.
So I'm immune to poison and being frightened, and I have advantage on wisdom saves, right?
Yes.
So I already have advantage on magic wisdom saves. Do I get double advantage, or how does that work?
I'm guessing Zev has found his way in at some point in time.
Yeah, somebody's
Okay.
probably gone and got Zev,
Yeah,
if nothing
I said
else.
When we first got there,
'Cause even the
Yeah, but you were,
villagers-
you were inside. I can't hear
Yeah,
you
I guess.
outside.
The villagers have even started coming in, and he's sort of feeding them probably in the common room, like out in the foyer and in some of in the parlor. And
So I add
Parlor.
16 to my max, and then I go.
You also
I'm
get
full.
16.
Oh, I also get 16.
right,
Got it.
were you not full? Because
no, I
Calman
wasn't
can
at my
heal you before he drinks his
I
potion. He
wasn't
can
at
heal
my
you
max
to
yet.
max. How far are you?
I am bad at math. I think I'm 15 below.
He can lay on hands you back to full health before he drinks the Winston water.
Okay.
Is anybody else below full? Zev,
I am, but not by
What?
much.
you below full?
No. I'm
Who
good.
wants to guess how many
Kira,
hit points
you below
I have
full?
now?
87.
Wow.
Did you look?
Yep.
He did.
I have 74.
I've got 58 now.
I've got
too.
80.
I'm a
Me too.
Kira, are you below max or Trixie?
Yes, but not by much. 5
Calman
and
has
2
free
below.
lay on hands he can give you before he drinks the...
Okay, 5 and 2.
Okay, you're back.
I'm very thankful for this feast, owling.
Can you write it down on Spree's?
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Rupert.
Oh, I need to do sprees.
That'll be... Yeah, just do a plus 16 and put, like, Hero's Feast or something so that we know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's not forever.
Kira sits quietly in the corner.
Okay. What are you guys talking about
Dern
for
brings her
this hour?
Darn goes back to the keg.
Dern is drinking for the hour.
So, we need to go get the bastard, right? We need to just go kill
You're
him.
already in
What's
here.
a bastard? I never heard that.
You're...
Are you saying your name again?
You'll
Yes,
understand when you're
no.
older.
I was swearing in Gnomish.
Oh boy,
No, Calman.
I learned to swear.
No, Calman. Calman, listen.
Dern, is it okay to swear?
Aye.
Good.
No, Dan.
What?
He's like, Calman, how old are you?
I'm a dash 28.
Wait. What's your alignment?
I'm good.
Just good?
Lawful good.
Oh, you can't swear then, lad. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
damn.
No, Calman.
What?
You can't say that.
What?
Damn.
Oh, why?
It's a bad word. It's a swear.
Why?
Are you allowed to say
You
that?
said a swear again.
Oh. Well, I'm chaotic good.
Oh, it's not lawful to swear?
No.
Is there a law against swearing?
in
Some
public?
places, aye.
Yes. There's
Oh,
some
boy.
places you can't even put an ice cream cone in your pocket.
Oh, boy.
Or spit on
Leave it in
seagulls.
Florida.
Why do you have my shield, by the way?
Oh, I got it from the reflecting pool.
What's that?
It's where we talked to at Atlanta because she's not in Mechanus anymore.
Where did she go?
She crossed the Divine Bridge.
You're going to need to give me a little bit more than that, lad. What's that mean?
I think he's saying she evacuated to the celestial
Yeah,
plane.
that's right.
Oh.
The orcs got it. Half orc, sorry.
Half-orc.
Yeah, gods can't live here anymore.
Oh, so she leaves lots of people then. Okay. He goes back to his keg.
What does that mean?
Oh,
She's still there. She's just not here.
Dern. So you're not you're Oathbreaker, right? Like
I don't know what. How dare you say that word to me?
Oh, darn shove it. What are you? You said we talk about it later. I think it's later now.
No, I said you were owed an apology later.
All right, well then give it to me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going back to drinking.
I'll
This is a fun energy.
I'll join you.
Rupert, we're gonna need another keg for the wee man.
Okay, let's... All right, so these...
He's already scrawled.
He's like,
Derns
you just
on-
watched him like running back and forth, feeding as many of the villagers as he can outside who are hurt or whatever.
Are we supposed
yes,
to
but I'll
tip
get you
him?
more beer. And he goes downstairs and pulls another
If you
keg
like,
out
but
and sets
I'm
it on
not
the
sure if it'll
table,
make much
taps
difference.
it, and goes back to work. Do you need anything else before I go back to the parlor?
How about some spell slots? Can you do that?
I'm afraid I
May,
cannot.
may I have some cheese?
Yes,
on the
Pulls out,
table.
cheese, of
pulls out
course.
his mouse and makes it very obvious why he wants the cheese.
There's some on the table.
Yes, okay.
Oh, I did not see it. Okay.
Your
All right,
mouse gains
so-
no benefits from heroes.
It's so cute.
It has like 2 hit points anyway, so if it had the 16
It would be
point-
Mighty Mouse.
fucking roided out mouse.
And now Dern has a familiar. Not Dern Zev.
All right, so
Can I ask Lena a question?
Yeah, she's here.
Have you tried these little mini quiches? They're great.
They are delicious.
Is she eating with the mask on?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mage hand.
No!
I
Bad!
had a dream. I'm going to steal this.
If you had a dream and then saw something
Trixie
from
may
that
have been
dream
eyeing
that
it.
you had dreamed up,
I would not resort to thievery.
all right, so I guess you're not Oathbreaker then,
No, I'm
Dan.
not. How dare you use that word again around me?
All right, well,
Trixie was
I'm gonna-
eyeing it, but she's like, no, she's on my team.
So anyway,
And she's stuffing her face with the mini quiches.
are you a vegetarian?
No, we're big on hunting, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were back in my day, too. It's just kind of a thing.
Are you
Am I?
a vegetarian?
Yeah. But, like, this whole I mean, we were back in my day.
The Aaron, the huntress.
Yes. What are you rolling for?
You're not
History check.
joking, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm a vegetarian.
And she's
I always have been.
slowly
There was
starts
the
pushing
one
this
time with the
rib
BLT.
next to
It
the
was an
person next to her,
accident.
who's Zev, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, God, stop it!
He got the hunger for the meat when I rolled so bad trying to
There's
convince
like
him to be a
a piece
vegetarian.
hanging off his... It's like a piece hanging off his tusk.
Yeah, you've been craving that rib since Aaron's bad vegetarian roll.
Now he's looking for more.
The stories don't play that out, but you're here.
Well, the stories don't play a lot of things out. I hear a lot of people have abandonment issues because of me. That's not exactly fair to me either, I don't think.
I thought abandonment issues were his fault. And he points at Dern.
Yeah, he's a bit, yeah.
They were, Zev, they were.
Yeah.
The quiches are okay, right?
What do you mean?
Like, we can eat the quiches, right?
Are you a vegetarian?
Are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. They're great.
Okay.
I am not.
We can
Who
eat
cares?
eggs, and she glares at Kira.
And she's eating them.
Kira's just sitting there staring into her stein.
I mean, you don't have to be. It was the tradition.
But I am the huntress.
Yes.
I'm supposed to emulate the tenets of the
But
huntress.
I'm the huntress.
Right. But when you're not here, I'm the huntress.
Well, I don't know if I'm not going to be here ever again. I think I'm here for good.
Am
I think
I-
I'm here and now for good.
I am not the huntress?
If we're both here and I'm not leaving, does that make me the huntress?
But
Maybe
the
I am
huntress-
the huntress.
Maybe I'm the huntress! But the huntress always leaves. She comes and goes, and we, the ones like me, hunt in her stead.
I think those days might be over.
She's a vegetarian now. You can hunt as much as you want. She doesn't want any meat.
Oh. You're
Which isn't to say you're out of a
She
job
looks
or
at-
anything.
Mag, who is smiling and just sort of picking at the food, despite the fact that she should be really digging in. And she looks very happy with the kind of way that you say that you're staying, I guess, you would pick up on.
Okay. So I guess we're going to need to figure that out at some point, right?
I mean, if you're back, then you're back. And she takes the mask and she hands it to you.
Are you sure? I respect you as a huntress. I know that you've worked your whole life for this honor, and I wouldn't want to take it away from you.
But that's not
But
your
also,
way.
my hands are like reaching up for it.
It
But
would
like,
be-
No,
the
I couldn't
greatest-
possibly. This is
It would be the greatest of honors to return this to the huntress.
Do you want my bandana?
yeah. Thank you, Lena. I'll give her my bandana. Can I trade her?
You can.
Seems fair. Cool. Yeah, I take it.
Okay.
Except when you wear the bandana under the mask, you get superpowers and can fly as an eagle.
I want the bandana.
She takes
Zeb,
the
you're
bandana.
not a part of this.
I want to fly.
As Hevstone turns red.
Do you try to attune, because you have to attune to it with your set, like, do you try to do that during this time too?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're about to say it doesn't work,
It does not have any magical properties.
I want my bandana back.
no, it's fine. The bandana is useless until dawn anyway, because someone ruined my trap.
Zev's just doesn't even pay attention. He's now putting food into his bag of colding.
Roll you can roll an Arcana check. We'll see how that goes.
Let me guess. It was powered by Kylena, who no longer even exists. That's an 11.
You do know that some magical items are tied to divinity. You also know some magical items were created by the gods' ascensions. But you don't know if that has anything to do with this. But
Maybe
you,
I'm just not
you are
worthy
sort of
anymore.
get the idea that could be part of the reason. But it does not have any magical properties. It looks rather ceremonial.
Oh.
She
Lena,
had realized that before.
did this
Not
have
until she tried to.
magical power? Does this mask have magical powers?
Well, no.
Oh. Cool.
It's passed down from
Cool.
its keeper to its keeper for those who emulate the huntress here in this plane. How are you here if you're a god?
I'm not like really like a god.
Oh,
I never really consider myself to be like a god. Honestly, I'm all mixed up. So I could be a god and not know it, or I was, but I'm not anymore, or I will be, but I'm not now, or I could have been, but I'm not. There's a lot of options. So just like whatever you feel like could be right.
If you want to worship me, go ahead.
and she kind of starts like pushing some things around on her plate, and she goes, "Oh,
I'll take that brisket now.
oh yes, the brisket is very good."
What's wrong?
Nothing. You can roll an insight check if you want.
6?
Nothing.
You don't know. Something's troubling her.
I know, I'm just a disappointment all around.
Join the club.
Well, this has been a fun feast. We really got it all out there.
Morale's really through the roof.
But at least we're well fed, right?
Thank you, Trixie.
I tried giving Clippy some beer.
Doesn't really go anywhere.
Okay.
A red squiggly line appears underneath.
Jesus. Are you trying to get me drunk today?
No, I just want to see what would happen.
Doesn't seem to be able to consume the beer.
All
You
right.
just kind of slop it all over him.
Yes, he's wet.
Lad, don't waste it.
All right.
Dern starts slurring his words together, and a red squiggly line appears in front of him.
Now listen here.
Sean Connery?
Yeah, what happened?
That's the only way I can do this, lass.
All right, so back to it. The bastard. Don't, Calman. Don't. Don't listen. Close your ears. Close
Ears?
them. Close your
Hearing
audio
holes.
Got it.
All right, so the bastard and the lieutenant, right? They were
Oh,
going to
right.
Is
Yeah.
bastard
Yeah.
an official title or a nickname or a judgment?
Doesn't
or...
matter.
So apparently Henna is being a spy over
Yeah.
there.
Henna's a spy. We need to go take care of this bastard.
So now that we're well
you just
fed.
want to
They're
say
not talking about me, are they?
No.
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 Okay.
not this time.
Drow,
Okay.
not you.
Okay.
All right, so I'm full now.
Me too.
We should
too.
probably just go, like, I don't know, quickly take care of it.
Wait, you have to wait at least 30 minutes.
We can't because then they'll be
before
here.
Swimming.
Yeah, but then they'll be here, Oren.
We have
No.
a bridge.
No
So-
one go to the creek.
All right, we just won't go to the creek and go swimming, but
Zev.
What?
we have to go take care of these bad guys so they don't kill everyone, right?
That's the goal.
All right,
Didn't you call
so,
them bastards?
Kill the bastards.
right, kill the bastards.
Wait.
Wait.
What?
Once again, not me, right?
Right, not you, Sev. Gotcha.
You can stay here and keep eating.
No, he can
No.
go, but he's not one of the ones we're killing.
Right, so let's go, right?
I'm very sneaky.
Are we letting the grease wizard lead us right now?
Well, what's different than usual?
Okay.
And I start marching
bong,
towards
bong.
the front
Calman?
door.
Thank you. What's his name? Jeeves?
I bong bong bong. Calman,
Huh?
I think
you can
his
listen
Name,
now.
his name was Ramon.
We're
What?
going to fight the bad guys.
I cast
did
message to Calman. You can unclog your ears now.
Okay.
I already told him.
Yeah, but he couldn't hear you because his ears were still clogged.
What?
I just realized this is an audio podcast, and nobody saw me pantomiming
I couldn't
taking
hear
my
you
ears
before.
off my ears. Don't you have like an intelligence of 20 or something?
No.
Wisdom of 20? Or is that the other one?
No.
All right, let's go.
So that's the other
Why
one?
do you keep talking about another one?
Apparently there are two Calmans. That one's
I don't
dash
think
6.
so.
There are.
I'm just going to get it to go cup here.
Put it in like.
Is this going to affect your fighting?
I don't know what you're talking about, lass. I'm resistant to poison, for one thing.
That's true.
And right now
Secondly,
you're immune to poison because
I'm a
of Hero's
dwarf.
Feast.
Oh,
Oh.
You're not getting drunk.
can I fit this whole fucking thing in my bag?
You're not getting drunk, actually.
Kira tips up her stein.
Okay.
I'm getting several cups.
Gross.
All right.
And you said you're heading out.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get it done quick. I've got things to do.
All right. So you walk out. The others who joined you for the feast walked back out to sort of head back to their points in town, I suppose.
As I walk out, my cup poofs away.
Kira's too.
I was
I'm
getting
very
there.
sad.
Yep. As soon as you make it out of the door,
Oh,
the
so
cups
that's
you're
a
holding are
cooler
gone.
of Snacks.
Sev doesn't know it's in his cooler.
Dern is like 2 seconds from crying.
Zev, roll a perception check. It's going to be really high, though.
13.
No. Okay. You're still happy about those snacks for
But
later.
where did the beer go?
Trixie
Lass-
comes out.
Lass, where did my beer go?
Oh, things inside there can't come out here. They stay in there.
But why?
She shrugs and says, magic?
Is the beer that's in my belly gone now, too?
No, anything that you've imbibed. Because I found an invisibility potion in there once, and I was still invisible when I came out, but what I had in my hand and I went out, it disappeared. So she shrugs again. Magic?
I didn't even get drunk.
It's the poison immunity.
Just fucking stalks off on pissed off.
It's okay, you can go back and drink
It's
again.
not okay.
Maybe
It'll
next
be
time,
okay.
buddy. We hope you've enjoyed our date night together. Remember, you can really help us out by subscribing, rating, and reviewing on whatever platform you use to listen to us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again in 1 week.